Sagittarius, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid to late July 2023. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's going on for the lovely Saggies out there. I hope you're all doing fabulous, my friends. Let's get it going here, my gods. Talk to me about Saggy in mid to late July. What's going on? Yeah, we're going to take a real quick look at this first card, then we'll get into the full reading itself, and at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean in on, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's get one card from my Saggies, please, just to start us off. What's up with my friends? Okay, deck, there we go. I was going to say the deck is being a little particular, and we have this dreamy type of energy linked directly to sleep whenever I see it. So we're going to have to talk about this one. I always see these types of energies in water sign types of readings, but it's interesting that it's showing up for you. Very imaginative and dreamy. Before we fully get into it though, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the July subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk about it. So we see this individual here in the pajamas with the nightcap on. There's like some nonsensical dancing mice and all sorts of things happening in here. Very etheric background. There's literally dream catchers. So for some of you, maybe Spirit's just highlighting sleep. Hopefully you're not having issues in the night, like insomnia, sleep, like not getting enough sleep. You might just be having weird dreams. Whenever sleep is linked, I always tell you, like, make sure you're getting in the proper rest and relaxation here. That's a big thing whenever Spirit shows that type of energy. Maybe Spirit's trying to communicate with you through the dream state as well. But to me, there's a lot of imagination. Like, this doesn't just have to speak about the sleeping world. This is subtle energies, unseen energies. So your imagination could be flowing. You might have a lot on your mind. You could be overthinking. That's how all these energies play together. So if that's the case, if you do have this dreamy, imaginative type of energy, now could be a very good time for a lot of Saggies to embrace that and do some sort of creative endeavor like art and just let that energy out. So we're just going to put that to the side now. Let's get into tarot. I always say with that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a footnote. I'm going to get you 3 cards in the upright before we get the intuitive juiciness going. So let's shuffle it up one time. I just also want to let everyone know we're nearing a very, very big milestone here on the channel. The first 100 subscribers to our community. It's a big time, right? So I'm going to be putting out a poll to see how we should celebrate it. If you care to take it, if you see it in your feed, please vote on it. Let me know what you want to do. But let's get into this reading. Let's talk about you now. Enough about me. Last week's reading was titled An Important Talk. There was a big emphasis on communication, whether it's a talk that you've been wanting to have or somebody else wanting to speak to you. Those energies could still linger in this week, so always keep that in mind. Let's get you 3 cards, though. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone, so only take this how it hits for you, because it could be your vibe or someone you're linked to. Let's get 3 cards. But the importance of communication is big. Wow, we're starting with a lot of action. You might be wanting to do something or take an action, make a move, or just get something going here with this judgment in position number 1. I like it. I mean, then again, I'm also a fire sign, my friend, so I like starting a reading off with some big action, possible big change. Let's get 2 more. Judgment isn't a card that intimidates me or any fire signs for that matter. Let's get you 2 more. Now the deck is being specific. Very angelic type of energy. All right, Saggy, lots and lots of powerful energy here. We have the Tower. Do not be nervous about this Tower, right? Towers could be good, but it's like a duel between powers here. Very interesting. Let's get 1 more. Judgment and the Tower, like, that's almost energy overload. Okay, we have the World as well. Saggy, we are contending with probably the 3 most powerful cards in the whole entire deck here. Okay, I'm going to keep it real with you. I've never seen a beginning spread start with these 3 cards together. So let's go through. I feel like we're going to have a lot to unpack, whatever it is you've been going through or whatever it is that's coming up for you. There could be a lot of powerful energies pulling at the threads, but let's go through one by one. Then we'll get into the juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, like I said, this spread could look intimidating. It could, because we have Judgment, we have the World, we have the Tower. I'd said them in reverse, but you see what I mean? These are extremely powerful, probably the 3 most powerful in the whole deck, and I'm not even over exaggerating here. The good thing is there's angelic energies in place, protective energies in place. So regardless if things are popping up or surprising or in a big state of flux, these angelic energies are extremely protective. But let's go through one by one. Position number one, Judgment. Like I said, we're starting off with a bang. To me, this is a card of change. It's a card of transformation. It could be about literal judgments, making a choice. Do I let it go on? Do I stop it here? Do we keep pushing it, or do we just stop it altogether? Like, it could be literal judgment calls. This is a very karmic card, just like the World on the back end. You could even say it about the Tower too. They all have karmic undertones to them. Judgment to me is more about transformation. It is Plutonian in nature. It's about metamorphosis, and it's about change, right? And once again, it is action. It's explosive. It's volatile sometimes, because once this judgment call is made, once this action is put into place, there's no stopping it. Similar to the Tower. So maybe some of you have made a judgment call or put something into place where there's, I don't want to sound ominous, where there's like no turning back. Okay, let's not even go there just yet, because we have a lot more to go. Position number two, we do have the Tower. Straight up, this is an energy of shock, energy of the unexpected, energy of, yes, it could be things crumbling, the foundation being reset. That's a big thing whenever we see a tower. But what I always like to tell everyone is, remember that not all towers are bad. Some towers are very good. Sometimes things need to change. Sometimes these surprises, these shocking energies are good ones. But generally, we can see this with endings as well. All these cards could show up with endings of a cycle, the close of a cycle. Now, only the clarifier will really tell us what this tower represents, whether it's an old one, whether it's a new one, or whether it's something that's good or bad. So I don't believe in good or bad. I believe there's challenges and then there's positives, pardon me. So we'll see. But once again, I just want to say the overabundance of powerful energy and karmic energy. And at first glance, all these cards are a little bit intimidating on their face. But moving to the back end, we have the World. This card is about the close of a cycle. Not all closes of a cycle are bad. I always want to keep reminding people of that as we move through. I know a lot of Saggies could be going through a variety of different things. Now, the World has a lot of other themes. Once again, karmic. So it could be karmic cycles, karmic situations. You're seeing similarities, but it is very, very powerful. The World, to me, aside from the cycle connection, the change connection, the metamorphosis connection, could literally talk about the world today. A lot of you could have a big focus on world events, what's happening in the world. Major world events pop up sometimes when the world is here. Or there could be someone you're connected to that is highly invested in the world outside. Okay, so usually when I see this card, it's my card of people saying they want to get away, or they want to go out into the woods for a good long while. So we'll see what's up with all this. But once again, karmic, powerful. I mean, we have all the different adjectives popping off here, Saggy. I want to dive deeper on it. Let's jump in and clarify. All right, let's get a good shuffle here and reset this deck for you. What do we got for the Saggies, please? And yes, my friends, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on Judgment. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages that you want to give to Saggy, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. All right, Judgment time. What's Judgment here? Thank you. Queen of Wands. All right, taking something with grace. Whatever it is that you might be going through, whatever changes, metamorphosis, the Queen of Wands in the upright is like, it is telling me a lot of you could be putting it into motion. You could be putting it into place, like getting it started, kicking the wheels off. But it also tells me, if this isn't just representative of a change in you or about you, that you could be taking it with a lot of grace. To me, the Queen of Wands, if you're not connected to another fire sign, is a card of confidence, how one feels about themselves, the beauty, the self-confidence. So I really like this card in the upright. So if we're not talking, like I said, about the changes in you as a person, inside and out, this is telling me that whatever's coming down the pipeline, you're going to handle it with grace, confidence, dignity. This is beautiful type of energy. You might see the purpose for it all. Okay, like, and that's something I don't often say in readings, but whatever it is you're going through, whatever changes, whatever situations you're going through, you might see the reason for it, and you might be okay with it. You might come to terms and come to peace with it. We're going to keep moving over to the Tower. Like, you understand why it has to be a thing, but there are big changes afoot. That's another thing I have to say. Big changes. Let's go in on the Tower, because I don't want to get too hung up on either one, because I feel like all the alignments are just as important as the one before it. But why is this Tower here for Saggy? Thank you. Oh. All right, there might be somebody trying to fight a change. Okay, we have the Five of Wands. For some of you, this could be an explosive conflict or just a shocking situation popping up here with the Five of Wands. It is combative. And I'm getting just a rush of different things. For some of you, something could have come to like a fever pitch, or could have just like come to a breaking point where it's like it built up, and then the explosion or the eruption. That's a big vibe I'm getting here. Okay, because whatever this Tower is, like, there was build up to it. Maybe that's why you might have understanding about it and see why it had to happen or whatever it might be. But I feel like for a lot of you, if this isn't an explosive situation, it could be one that came a little shocking. And if there is someone in the midst, remember I did say, like, you could be taking whatever changes and situations you're going through with a sense of grace. This person or this individual or energy is kind of fighting it. Okay, like, no. I don't want this to happen. I don't want this Tower to happen. I don't want this change. Let's just do some patches here. So do what you will with that, Saggy. Like, it's a very interesting energy to have because they're separate, right? Like, one is taking it with grace and seeing the reason why, another energy is fighting against it completely. But I do see that possible explosive or shocking situation happening, whether it's one from the past or one that's happening currently. It's getting a little out of hand, but there was a slow build to it. Let's move in on the world. Let's see what's up with the world. And then we'll do a recap. I mean, once again, the karmic energies, the change-based energies, it's very powerful. And once again, I want to point out, we have all this power up at the top. So far, all the clarifiers are wands as well, the fire. But let's see why that world is here before we do the recap and the shadow card. Thank you. Three of Swords. Okay. Yeah. That's, someone's really not, all right, I feel two main things. One, I feel like this connects with the world card. See how they both have like the clouds and it's kind of like they link together. For some of you, yeah, I would really try your best to stay away from world events because they could be winding you up more in this time. So if you're an avid news watcher or an avid scroller on your phone, you might want to peel back on that time a little bit because that could be stressing you out or making you overthink more and more. But when I have the Three of Swords, it's a card of sadness, it's a card of heartbreak, and with the card of endings and closings, I do see someone taking it with grace, someone fighting against it, but an ending coming in nonetheless here. Okay, and it might not be the easiest to deal with, and it could be painful, it could be sad, but it is showing up right here on the back end with the Three of Swords. Okay, regardless of all the other stuff we were seeing here, like something might need to close out, or if it has closed out, it had to. Like there was a reason for it. Just want to say again, we have all the fire, now we have the air showing up, so the explosive energy I was picking up or the shocking energy is still here. But this could indicate a painful ending here on the back end, or you just needing to really try your best not to get sucked up into what's going on in the world today, current events, stuff like, I mean, it's good to stay current, my friends, but if it's coming at the cost of your own mental well-being and your own mental health, that's when you might need to take a step back and peel it back a little bit. I feel like it's a dual message, but let's go through. Some of you could just be an ending that hurts, but let's go through. And then, yeah, we'll get into the shadow card. Position number one, we have Judgment with the Queen of Wands in the upright. For some of you, this could represent a change that's going on within yourself or in your outer self. And you could be taking it well, or at least on appearances, you could be taking it very well. Very transformative, though. I don't necessarily feel like it's bad. And whatever situations you might be going through, you see why they're happening, the root of it, why it has to be, and why it happened the way it did. Moving to the center, aside from this energy of acceptance, we have the Tower with the Five of Wands in the upright, something that builds to fever pitch and is either an explosive situation or even a shocking one for some of you where it comes out of nowhere, but you still kind of knew why it happened. For a portion of you, this could also be somebody fighting against change. Like, no, we don't need to stop this. We don't need to reset it. So we have grace, but we have resistance. On the back end, we have the World with the Three of Swords. Hurtful ending. Not endings are tough. Okay, like They're not always easy to work with, but I still see the pain linked in there. Whether it's been recent, old, whatever this represents to you, there's pain still linked to it. For a portion of you, just try to stay away from the world events if possible, because it could be winding you up. Please take a screenshot of that. I'm going to get you one shadow card. Let's see what's in the shadows for my Saggy friends. I mean, what to say about a reading like that, right? You know me, I'm an optimistic reader. I try my best to infuse silver linings, but I'm always going to tell you what I feel from the spreads. But let's see what's in the shadows. What's in the shadows for Saggy, real quick. Okay, Page of Cups, communication. I feel like whatever it is, whether this reading hit for you or whether it didn't, the Page of Cups does speak about one speaking their own truth and not feeling like they have to suppress things. That's big here. Now, the Page of Cups could represent a water sign. This could represent some pain or hurt from childhood that's still lingering around. But a big thing with the Page of Cups, the shadow side of it could be somebody that's keeping their lips zipped and they're not talking about it. So as a shadow card, this could be Spirit saying, listen, whatever it is you're going through or working through, speaking about it to others, speaking to those around you. It's very important that you do this. Don't suppress, because that's when things start to fester. But for some of you, it could be linked to conversation as well. There could be some sort of conversation that tempts you as well. I'm picking that up for some of you, but we're just going to leave it as is, Saggy. That's what we have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the July subscriber surprise. If you got your name in for the June subscriber surprise, the winners will be announced in my community tab after this week's fire and air signs readings. But for July, I'll be giving away 2 copies of the Everyday Witches Tarot. Once again, one of my favorite decks and one of the first ones I ever gave away on this channel. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed, which I'm sure you already are. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot suits, which one has your favorite art style? Is it the swords, wands, pentacles, cups, even the major arcana? You'll be entered to win. And at the end of July, I'll put the winners in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.